Welcome to Don't Quote Me on That. One day we will have an intro, but today is not that day. Hi, I'm Elanor.
And I'm Kalina.
And welcome back to Don't Quote Me on That, where we talk about whatever we want to.
I think at this point we just need to change the slogan. But I really like our slogan. I think it's funny.
Love our slogan, and it's accurate, and it makes us always go back to movies at some point. So
yeah, after we've done a couple episodes, I'm like, oh, we haven't talked about a movie, so then that'll force us to watch something, and then we'll just go for another 5 episodes with no movies. I have to say, I'm a little bummed about this. No video business. Elanor looks very nice today. I'll describe her to you. Hopefully you've seen Elanor before, because it's not going to be a great description. I'm not going to get... I can't describe her, facial features, but she's got her eyebrows are pink, and they kind of match, the majority of her hair, and then the front of her hair is, this tealy green sort of color, and then she's got this really nice, lovely blue eyeshadow on. Now, maybe I'm a little impartial, because I do like blue, but... gorgeous. She's got this cute little green top on. She's got a little tie in the front almost.
Yeah, it's a bodysuit from Target, and it's really nice. And it's long sleeve, which is because I don't own a lot of long sleeve shirts.
Which I don't. Wearing a long sleeve in Arizona, I don't know.
Because it's cold. It's winter. It's 60 degrees today.
Oh, that is cold, to be fair.
I also have a jacket, but side note. If my audio sounds better or worse than normal, I'm in a car recording. It's not moving, but I am recording in a car, and I'm thinking it might make my sound better, because it's
I think it might be better. Yeah, I think it's kind of like having a little mini studio, and I don't know if anyone remembers this, but when lockdown was first going on, Machine Gun Kelly did all those lockdown sessions, and one of them I'm 75% sure he did from his car. And that sounded okay, so.
Okay. All right. Anyway, more to the point, because in case you haven't read the title, we haven't said what we're talking about yet. I do always forget that we give our things very, very good titles. It's very clear what we're talking about. And then we act like it's a mystery.
For the most part, when we record, it's a mystery talk.
That's fair. Kalina has no idea what we're talking about, because today is,
So. This is all Elanor.
A few months ago, we did an episode where I explained some internet drama to Kalina. And Kalina said she had fun. I had a ton of fun. I have a lot of, niche interests. And so sometimes I spend hours just reading about one thing, and then this is the only way to, make it productive.
Mm-hmm. So I don't pay attention to anything at all, ever. So that's a dream team right here.
So today we are going to do a nice little overview of the history of Little Mix, and one controversy in particular. So before I start that, Kalina, how much knowledge do you have about Little Mix, so I know where to start?
Okay, I know they were on X Factor. Yes, that's that show. And there were 4 ladies, I believe, and now there's 3 ladies, and one of the ladies is really pretty, and I know that doesn't have anything to do with with your thing, but she's.
Which one? Like that. Which one do you think is pretty?
I think. Okay, it's not Perry, and then who was the one that it's not? It's one of the 2 that are left. Does that help you? I think it's Jade.
Jade. Well, the other 2 are both really... Do you know if she's had a kid?
Yeah, they're equally... No, I don't know. Listen,
Okay, all right.
So many questions.
Okay, sorry.
I know Perry was pregnant.
Yes.
And then I know another one was pregnant, but I don't know which one. But no, I do think the both of them... I think they're all pretty, but those are my top 2. But I think it's Jade.
Yeah.
I think really nice
I think it's Jade also, just knowing you. She's very, very pretty. Okay.
Wait, I'm not done with my...
sorry.
I think they made a lot of history as the first girl group to do something, but don't ask me what that something was. But I think it has something to do with an award. They did a song with Machine Gun Kelly, which was both bad and good at the same time.
They do?
And they did that
song,
Secret Love Song with Jason Derulo, I believe, and that song's really good.
What's their song with?
And they're British.
Is No More Sad Songs? I think it's
Maybe,
no
but
more
all I
sad
know is it
songs.
takes place in like a honky tonk bar, which makes no sense for any of the people
Yeah.
involved because they're British and we've seen Machine Gun Kelly.
It's no more sad songs.
Yeah, why are they in like a country bar? I like a country bar, but like, why are they specifically there?
An excuse to wear Daisy Dukes?
But Secret Love Song with Jason Derulo, very good song. I don't
Yes.
think we needed him, but it's a good song.
Yeah,
Is it Jason Derulo? Yeah, it's him.
I think
Anyway,
so.
That's all the facts I know about Little Mix.
Okay. All right. I think all of your facts were correct. They were on the X Factor actually the year after One Direction. And they were
I couldn't remember if it
also...
was the year as... I didn't want to go too far. I know you've told me this, but I can never remember if it's the same year or like...
No, it's the year after. And they were also kind of piecemealed together like One Direction was. So all four of them, there's four of them. There's Jade, Perry, Leanne, and Jesy. So they all four auditioned separately, got put together in a band, and then they became the first ever... first, they were the first group to ever win X Factor. And then on top of that, they were the first ever group of just ladies to win X Factor. So that might have been what you were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
They're also, just in general, they're like one of the best-selling girl groups of all time. So I think right now, well, maybe not right now, because I think there are some like K-pop or J-pop bands that are all girls that might be bigger than Little Mix. But for a time, they were kind of the girl band, if you
I
will.
remember they were talking about like not the Pussycat Dolls, but what was the other one?
Destiny's Child?
The Spice Girls.
Spice Girls.
That was it.
Okay.
I've seen like a couple clips of interviews with Little Mix where they talk about like how they get treated versus, and like it's just ridiculous considering they're like probably the biggest or they are the biggest girl group since, at least in Britain, since the Spice Girls.
Yeah. And I will say it probably didn't help that One Direction took like the main, I guess, band spot. But Little Mix is good. Little Mix is one of the ones where like I don't think I've ever actively searched out their music, but everything I've heard I've really liked.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah. So yes, they're a band. They got put together. They kind of, for the first really couple years, 10 years almost, for the most part, they've been fairly, I don't want to say unproblematic because that's a stupid word, but like unproblematic.
It's weird that's like, that's the gauge nowadays.
Yeah.
You know, like before you probably, I don't know, base things only off what they're like, what their book content they're producing. But now it's like, has this person had a controversy recently? Because everyone like it's rare to not have one, and how bad was that controversy?
I will say, on top of that though, there've been a few there've been a few things, most of it surrounding like cultural appropriation. This is before like the big thing that I'm sure most people have heard about Little Mix from, but even before kind of this year, before 2020, which isn't this year, but whatever, there have been instances of they've put on like traditional Chinese gowns or like attire, but then like kind of sexualized them is the nicest way to put that. And they wore some of the white members put dreadlocks in their hair. One of the members, Perry Edwards, put on like a Native American kind of chief hat, if you will.
Headpiece?
So yeah, I think everybody with the feathers, yeah. So, I mean, nobody's perfect. They haven't done anything egregious for the most part, but they have, things have been a little sketchy at times.
It sounds like things that like, and I'm not gonna say everyone who makes a mistake is not an honest mistake, but like it sounds like honest mistakes, like not to say little things, but like smaller scale stuff.
It's definitely like, I think some of the things like the Native American garb, like British people or people not from America are, like, even further removed. Like, it doesn't make it okay, but, like, it makes sense that they'd be a little bit less aware of the significance.
It's so weird, especially for those of you who don't know, I am a person of color. And it's weird, like, when you leave America, because I think race and culture is such a prevalent thing there. And, like, that's good and bad, but, like, I found, now I'm so far in Eastern Europe, but the further in Europe you go, it's, like, they don't know, and, like, that's not a good excuse, especially with the internet, like,
yeah,
they should, but also, you have to understand the background's different, so even if someone tells them something's wrong, they're not going to have the cultural context all the time, and it's kind of like, sometimes I'm there, and I'm like, where do I stand? Like, do I educate you? Like, I don't... Mm-hmm. I know you don't mean anything by it. It's like, it is such a genuine mistake, more so than probably in other cases. But it's like, also you should know better.
Yeah, even, like, this is completely. I'm not trying to compare the situations at all, but just it is something I've been thinking about in the line of, like, how kind of race in America is a lot different than, I guess, race outside. If that makes basically what happens is I'm kind of painfully white, and sometimes I'll do things that are just, like, the whitest things you ever heard of, you know. And I made a joke to one of my Irish friends, and then I was like, being white, like, being quote unquote painfully white in Ireland, completely different than, like, in America.
I think about that too, because I don't make race jokes a lot, but I make them mostly with Elanor. So sometimes I'll, like, like here in Slovakia, I'm like, I'll think of something. I'm like, this is not the audience.
Yeah.
You're not going to get it if I say it. Not even they won't find it, like, might find it offensive. It's just, like, the context needed will just go completely over their heads. They'll be like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, I can't explain.
Mm-mm. Like, there are so many, like, layers of, yeah. So it is kind of interesting. And even, like Kalina was saying, and we lived in Ireland together, and so I feel like they're fairly, I don't want to use the word progressive, accepting, I don't know. But then, like, Kalina will tell me about some things that happened, and I was like, if that happened in America, they'd get skinned. Like, there's no way, like, I know, it's just kind of weird, because, like, obviously race exists, and there's non-white people there.
Remember where you are.
Yeah. Or even, like, I think something that kind of took me a while to get used to is in Ireland, a lot of the times when there's somebody of color, they're not kind of, like, they're not usually Irish. They're usually either first generation immigrants or, like, recent, like, actual immigrants themselves. And so I don't know. I don't know why that kind of jarred me a little bit, but because in America, for the most part, everyone's just from here, you know? But in Ireland, like, if you see somebody, I don't know, it's just interesting. I've also met people from more countries in Ireland than I think exist in America.
Yeah. And then also there's, like, I might part of this might be, I know we're getting off topic, part of this might be living in Florida, but, like, back to cultural context, like, if I were home and someone asked me what I was, they'd probably ask me if I was from, you know, like, one of the islands or something. Mm-hmm. Whereas here, I've gotten Africa a lot, and I don't know if you should be offended by that. Although one guy on the street was like, and I was pretending I didn't speak English, even though I definitely do, and he was speaking to me, and he said something about Africa, and I was like, no, and he was like, Jamaica, and I was like, it's really weird that you, like, pinpointed that one, because no one ever does.
Now that, like, sorry, this is just a real quick thing. I was watching a show, and one of the actresses, she looked super familiar, and I was like, I don't know why part of her face looks familiar. I looked it up. She's also half Jamaican, and I was like, oh, connecting.
I was like, I've never had anyone just, like, look at me and, like, yeah, you're Jamaican. Like, I don't even think I could do that to someone.
Oh, absolutely not.
My dad is Jamaican, but, like, it's
maybe if you walked into a room full of your dad's family, you could pick one out.
I'd be like, hey. But yeah, it's kind of interesting how they perceive, like, and I guess it gives more insight to, like, how they think about race, but, like, what their context is for people of color.
Yeah. But also, 2 members of the band are, like, actual people of color. So...
Yes. Back to the band, sorry.
Back to the band, sorry. I mean, it was an interesting little sidebar, and I did appreciate it.
The most relevant sidebar we've had in a while.
Yes. So the main kind of hullabaloo happened. Let's see. In December of 2020, right? Yes, December 2020. I don't know why I thought this happened forever ago. Or,
I mean, I feel like
not
we've lived several
the
lifetimes
point. That's
in the
true.
last few years.
November of 2020, Jesy Nelson, one of the members of Little Mix, said that she was taking a break because of mental health struggles. And I think all of the girls in Little Mix have been fairly open with like mental health struggles, and a few of them had like eating issues and a lot of body image issues caused by being put into the spotlight. So I mean, it's good that she was taking her health seriously and whatnot. And then after she said that she was going to leave, the other three said that they were going to continue as a trio. Thank you. Yes. So they did that. For the most part, Jesy Nelson kind of laid low. And while she was gone, two members of the band got pregnant. I think one of them or two of them might have gotten engaged. So they, were a little bit busy with that. I think they did release an album, but they weren't touring. Also, because of COVID, they weren't touring or anything huge. And I know one of them was doing... Basically, they weren't fully working on music. For the most part, they were hanging out. But they did about roughly... So Jesy left December 2020. The month before that, they released their sixth album. I don't believe they toured with that because of COVID. And then in January, they released an album that's just the three girls. So January 2021, they released an album as a trio. And then they remixed.
That's a quick turnaround.
It really is. I mean, I'm trying to think.
You assume they knew.
I would have to assume there were hints beforehand. Mm-hmm. I mean, it is. Yeah, it's only a month. But
yeah, like I'm not even like taken from the last album. Even if she hadn't announced she was leaving, they were probably like, okay, you're not going to be a part of this. But like, what, from November to January? Mm-hmm. There's a band I like that's been working on a new album for 5 years. That's like...
Rihanna's been working on new music for a decade.
Exactly.
I'd have to imagine there was definitely... They probably knew before it was actually publicly announced that she was leaving. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it is... I didn't even realize how quick that was. But yes, it's a quick turnaround. They also remixed one of their songs from the last album with the four of them. So it's called Confetti. They remixed it with just the three of them, and they added I think a verse with Saweetie, which I think is kind of funny that they just liked the song so much they were like, we're going to take away your parts and it's fine, we got it.
Yeah. No feelings, right?
Of course not. And then July 2021, this has nothing to do with anything, I just thought it was funny. It was announced that they were getting wax figures at Madame Tussauds, and even though the one girl had left, she was also getting a wax figure.
I mean, like...
Fair enough. But, like...
I mean,
save for the most recent 6 months, they'd been, they weren't going to go melt her down. I'm assuming a wax figure takes more than 6 months.
Exactly. I was just saying, it's like mathematically, they've been a band for how many years? In 6 months of those, there was one girl.
Yeah.
She wasn't there. Like, say what you will, but she did contribute.
Yes. And then so they've had a couple singles with other artists for their albums.
Do you think we could get wax figures?
That's my dream. I'd be okay with that.
I think I'd hate a wax figure myself.
Well, I want mine to look like just messed up enough that you can't really tell it's me.
I need them to just mess up my eyes enough so I don't look miserable and I don't have a lazy eye.
You don't want your wax figure to have a lazy eye.
I just feel like I want people to get the best version of me. So if a wax figure can't change its expression, you know, I unfortunately can't. So gotta pick a photo where I look really nice.
Kalina, you can't change your expression.
Yeah, but the person making a wax figure can't imagine what I would look like if I could.
All right. Also in August, so a couple months after their first trio album, they announced that we were doing a greatest hits album. And also at some point they announced that they're
funny.
That yes.
They're like, goodbye, you left the
We're
band.
gonna take these.
Here's all the great things we did while you were here.
There's also they will be touring for, it's called the Confetti Tour, which is the last album they had with Jesy, but I'm assuming they're mostly going to be doing not those songs. I don't really know. It'll be interesting to see, but that's planned for most of 2022, so most of this year, and after that they are going on a hiatus to recharge, I believe was their official language. So, I mean, as a band, they seem to have got things together. I know one of them is acting. Like I said, two of them just had kids. One of them had twins. So, like, the band itself seems to be going pretty well.
Seem to have a handle on things.
Yeah. Can't really complain. They also, yeah, they're really just, it's a band. But Miss Jesy, the real meat and potatoes of this episode, her first solo song, which was put out October 2021, so October is the 10th month? So yeah, nearly a year after she left the band, she put out her song Boys with a Z with Nicki Minaj. And the lyrics,
Wait, real quick.
Yes.
I think when you leave a band and then you like do solo work, I don't think you should be allowed to have all these features. Like, you know, like if you were doing solo work by yourself, you'd have to like work your way up the ladder to just have a feature with Nicki Minaj. I feel like you should still have to do that even if you got cut from your band.
I would like to say that Little Mix did a song with Nicki Minaj, so
I don't care.
I know, but this one, you know, it's not like she picked up Mariah Carey out of nowhere. There was at least a little bit of a professional relationship beforehand. Anyway, the first line of that song is, "Ayo, it's the UK baddie and the Barbie."
I hate this song.
Me too.
Well, I hated it when you said it was Boys with a Z, mostly. But it's going downhill very quickly.
It talks about how she loves bad boys, and
Sentiment I'm sure we can all agree with.
yes, I don't know if this is a Nicki line or a Jesy line because the lyrics are not split up like that, but it does say, "So hood, so good, so taboo. I like them tattoos and them gold teeth."
My money's not on Nicki Minaj.
Yeah.
I would like to imagine her lyricism is a tad more advanced.
And the styling for the single and the video, it's all very, it's blackfishing is what it is. I don't know why I'm dancing around it. That's what it is. Kalina, do you know what blackfishing is, or do I need to pull up a definition?
I do know what blackfishing is.
Okay. For those in the back, it's
maybe pull up
essentially, it's when somebody who is not black does things to make themselves come off as black, essentially. I know the Kardashians have they kind of, well, they're one of the people who kind of started the conversation in the sense that they got accused of it. Ariana Grande, a little bit.
I think you've got, like, obviously blackfishing and blackface. I think blackfishing is more subtle. So, like, to someone who would know better, you'd be like, oh, they're black, you know? Because I think people do it to the Kardashians all the time. Or, like, have you seen people online when they complain about Ariana Grande? They're like, well, she's Italian. And they're like, Italian people are still white. Like, maybe they can carry a tan. Like, I don't know if they can, but, like,
I think Italian people, I think, have the ability to tan a lot darker than, like, an Irish person would. But that does not make them not white.
I can't remember who it is, but people make that comparison, like Italians and Irish, like and like, obviously you cannot conflate all white people together, but like they're separate from white people in terms of race. And I think we had to, like, I don't know if we explained it to the person, but afterwards Elanor and I are like, it's not like, we're not in New York in the 30s, or like, we're not it's not old timey America when you used to get, you know, like, I think we talked about it in media class, how they were saying like, no black people and no Irish, something, you know, stuff like that. That happened. It sucks that it happened. It shouldn't have happened, but like, that's not the case.
Yeah, that's not what's happening right now.
And like, you can't use that as an excuse. If someone's blackfishing and they're like Irish or Italian, you can't be like, well, they were discriminated against too. Okay, that is like two completely different issues though.
And it's also like, the sign was no Irish, no blacks, no dogs, which isn't
Elanor. This girl
great.
Knows exactly. That's, you know, exactly what I was talking about.
I do. I know exactly what you mean.
She was paying attention in class that day, folks.
I also was a history major, so I got it on both sides. So yes, specifically, Jesy Nelson was accused of, she wasn't accused of tanning. She was tanning, enough that there have been people who did not know she was white, because she does not look white.
I think we could do a whole episode on like your like tanning specifically in Ireland and the UK, but like just the idea of tanning.
And like, it's very easy to get out of hand, and like, not even out of hand in a culturally appropriate way, out of hand in like you look like an orange way. But like,
my thing about tanning is like, it usually happens in places where, like, I would take Ireland or the UK, okay, where like, they're not known for having a lot of sun. We all know.
Yeah, we all know where you live.
We all know you didn't tan naturally. So, like, I don't know why there's such shame in being pale. Like, yeah, it might not be fun. And, like, maybe you can go, like, a shade darker. But, like, we don't... There was girls that look like me sometimes.
Yeah, nobody thinks you're getting that much tan in Ireland. Really, truly. And if you'd just been to a beach, it would have been on your Instagram. So, we know. But at least in Jessy's defense, she didn't look orange.
I think that's worse, because if you're orange, you're not black.
Yeah.
It's like, if you're orange, I just think it's genuinely like, you took the tan a bit too far, you like a girl boss too close to the sun. But if you're like tanning to the point where like people think you're a different race, someone, especially when you've got like a team, you definitely have a team around you, someone should have been like, I got a question, just mild point.
Actually, kind of in that line, according to the Little Mix, so the other three, they did try to talk to, so two of the members are white. Perry and Jesy are white. Leanne and Jade. I think Jade is black and Leanne is Caribbean, but I'm not 100% sure on that. So if I'm wrong, don't tell me. But they're both not white. And they said that they tried to go to Jesy and be like, hey, that's kind of, don't do that. She said, Jesy was approached by the band in a very friendly, educational manner, which is good. It's kind of a bummer that it didn't work. And then also Jesy, when she was actually, like, asked about it in public by an interviewer, she just said she was 100% being herself, which is funny because she's just gotten worse at the blackfishing, and I don't know what she views herself as.
That's what I was about to say. Like, she's like, I'm being myself, and so was anyone like, but yourself is not black? No offense, okay? But like, little offense. Yourself is not black.
It's really not. Like, one thing I think is kind of, I don't know how to say this, so I'm just going to keep talking. So, like I said, Little Mix had been very open about their mental health struggles, etc. And one thing, so Jesy she's not large by any means, but the other girls in the band are skinnier. Mm-hmm. And so that caused her, a lot of people talked about that in the tabloids unfairly, and they were not nice to her, and they, kind of obviously caused body image issues. That's going to happen when you have kind of the whole world criticizing you. Yeah. But, and I think part of the way that she, again, this is completely speculating, I think blackfishing might have kind of made her feel better about it, because if you go super stereotypical, black women, they typically have like the curvier bodies, I suppose. Yeah. And so
I think that's more celebrated.
Yeah, and I could see her kind of playing into that more. But also, like, even a couple articles I read to prepare for this, it was like, now I don't want to pile on to somebody who's already been targeted for their body image, but I don't think blackfishing is great. And it's like, you can be bad because you're blackfishing, and then also people can be sympathetic because you were unfairly harassed for years. Like, you don't really have to bring the other one up.
Like, I wouldn't call it piling on, because one is unfair, and one, like the unfair pile is her body image things. But, like, you're not piling on. You're genuinely saying this is a problem. Yeah. This is a genuine issue.
Like, you're not saying, hey, we also think you're ugly. We're saying, hey, it's okay if you don't tan to look as dark as the actual black person in your band. You know?
No one would be upset about that.
And I'm pretty sure she also, it looks like she also has, the lip fillers, and she dresses like, I don't know how she dresses regularly, but in the boys' music video, she kind of dressed like she was purposely, like, there's one outfit, okay? She has red basketball shorts.
Eleanor's going through the stages of grief right now.
And Kalina, start talking.
I wish you could see Eleanor's face. She's going through every stage of grief very rapidly, and I'm having a great time. I think I've seen this outfit. She's wearing, like, it's hard to explain, and I get why Elanor doesn't want to say it, but she kind of looks like she's trying to, like, stereotype, I would say, like, 90s-ish, like, tomboy girl, like, black characters in a movie, if that makes sense, if you catch our vibe. I don't know the outfit off the top of my head, but I think I've seen it.
She's wearing, like, a red bucket hat and, like, super baggy basketball shorts and a really tight basketball jersey, but it's half out, so half of her bra is...
A more recent example, I don't know if you've all seen, Elanor, you've probably seen this. You know the Finesse music video that Bruno Mars did with Cardi B? It's like that kind of vibe. There you go.
But there was a mark that was missed.
Yes.
And she looks like she's the same color as Nicki Minaj. And, like,
I don't even think I'm the same color as Nicki Minaj. But I think me and Nicki Minaj are more related than her and Jesy Nelson.
Yeah. Also, kind of in a similar vein of blackfishing, Ariana Grande was accused of Asian fishing.
Yeah, I've seen that too.
Mm-hmm.
Someone, like, there was, like, 4 photos. It was her looking white, and her looking Asian, and her looking black, and her looking something else. She was just hitting all the boxes.
Or, like, there's an influencer, Nikita Dragon is her name, and she's been accused of blackfishing. And there was a tweet that she sent out, I don't remember when, but it was literally, "What race is Nikita gonna be today?" ? And it's like, don't do that.
I think in another context that would have been funny.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if you're like, "Oops, my tan was too dark this week."
Mm-hmm.
Then, yeah, haha, that's funny. But, like, if you're getting called out for blackfishing on a consistent basis, maybe don't do that.
No. There's
I
also...
think we should manage some celebrities. I mean, we're gonna
You
just
say that...
common sense.
And, like, I think if they're willing to listen, we have some good ideas.
Mm-hmm. They'll have a good time, at least, and they probably won't get canceled for the same things that everyone else does. No, they might get canceled for something else, because...
Yeah, we're not in charge of that. Yeah, no. There's also the idea of a black scent, which I've been hearing about a lot more lately, which is when people who are not black will kind of imitate the style of... I guess... I that one's hard for me, because...
Aquafina does it a lot.
Yeah.
And they say they imitate the style of black people, which obviously you can't do that because not every black person talks the same.
Yeah.
But, like, I think a lot of it is... I would say, like, a lot of it's kind of like a New York sort of accent, but, like, parts of New York where you would have a large black population, leaning into that a lot. And, like, what is it? AAV?
Yeah. AAVE.
A lot of that. Yeah, AAVE. I should know. But, like, you know, kind of dropping some of your words and slang you would use. And they're adopting... And, like, not to say... And, I don't know. Not to say AAVE and, like, you know, these Brooklyn or, like, whatever sort of accents. I'm using Brooklyn because it's the only place I can think of right now. White people can't sound like that because obviously there's white people there. There's white people who grew up around that. But it's when you...
It's when you can tell it's being forced, I think. Because I think...
you know, like...
You can tell sometimes.
I was thinking of... I like Eminem a lot. And I watched... There's this interview Eminem... I watched this yesterday. Did with Mike Tyson, where Mike Tyson said Eminem was the only white guy who knew what it was like to be an N-word. And Eminem said, "I don't know how to respond to that, but thank you." But, like, calling...
That's the smartest way to respond.
Calling out Eminem for sounding like that is very different than calling out, no offense, Elanor. If Elanor talked like that, then I'd be like, I have some questions, Elanor.
Oh, yes. I would have to be approached in a very friendly, educational manner. Mm-hmm. Yeah. For some reason, and this might really just be me, on my TikTok lately, there's been talks about how the new voice for Elmo is giving Elmo a black scent.
Yeah. Was it about the balsamic vinegar one?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm like, first, but I saw someone say, they're like, Sesame Street is in New York. That's where Sesame Street is.
Yeah, and another one...
sounds like that.
Yeah, another one was like, he's just trying to sound like the old actor because the kids aren't supposed to know that Elmo's not real.
Also, this might shock you, okay? I don't think Elmo can have a race.
Yeah, Elmo's red.
I just feel like the Sesame Street characters, I don't think race is the biggest thing they're dealing with in there. And, like, I'm sure they address it. Sesame Street's pretty spot on with addressing social issues, but I don't think the characters themselves deal with
I think if they deal with race, they'll bring on, like, an actual human who is black.
I do think they were talking about how they had, like, the first Hispanic Muppet or something that they're bringing on, but, like, but also they have, like, Elmo Muppets, and then they have more humanoid Muppets, so that's okay.
Yeah.
I think this is one of the humanoid Muppets. It's not like Big Bird's like, I'm not going to finish this because that might sound offensive.
Yeah.
I don't think they deal with racism.
No. I don't think they'd put a sombrero on Big Bird and say, it's always been like that.
Yeah. Can you imagine Big Bird? They don't even explain it. They're just one day they're like, Big Bird celebrates, I don't know,
Cinco de Mayo?
They're like, ignore the last thing I said, everybody. We're never gonna get to be guests on Sesame Street.
No, God, no.
My dream. Sorry.
I will say the lyrics of Jesy Nelson's song Boys they're like, not only are they cringy, but like,
oh yes, also if you're gonna blackfish, like, write a good song, you know what I mean?
yeah, it would be better if like at least the song was good.
I don't know if it would be better, because it's kind of like, you know, when people get canceled and then you're like, I really like this song, I know
that's
song,
true,
but like
that
I
is
really like that song. But like also, I mean, like, this is a joke, but like if you're gonna be bad, at least make some content out of it.
Yeah. And oh my God, did she put out an album?
I think Elanor said she did her research for this, and she's equally surprised by the things that are happening.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Okay, no, sorry, she doesn't have an album. She's just hinted at an album. Which, like...
Okay, well, hint away from one, please.
Yeah. The song is bad. The music video is very, very weird. She's on, like, a small bike for no reason. And I think what it is she looks like she's dressed as what, like, a very old grandma would think that people in the quote-unquote hood dressed like. I think that's the problem.
Those urban youths.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's it. No, like, and from what I've heard about her, because, like, I didn't follow this, but I do remember when it was happening, and I was like, and not to say I don't care, because I think I do care, and these things are important, but also, like, I don't have the brain capacity to worry about some random celebrity who's blackfishing. There's enough people who are going to deal with her, thankfully.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry. I know I'm interrupting you again.
My point left my brain.
She's also, I don't know if she still is, but for a while she was dating the ex-boyfriend of the actually black member of Little Mix.
Oh.
I completely forgot about...
First of all, take race out of that. You just, like, you just don't do that. I think that's, like, rule number one in girl code. I'm, like, 75% sure.
It's up there. It's definitely in the top 3.
You left, like, and not to say they're not still friends, but I don't get the feeling that, I remember what my point was. I remember my point. From what I have seen about her, she doesn't seem apologetic, so that makes it worse. Like, if it had been like a genuine mistake, and, you know, she was like, my bad, I didn't mean to blackfish, like, I was just trying to emulate music I liked or whatever, like, it wouldn't have been great, because she kind of took it to the extreme, in my opinion. But, like, if she was like, my bad, that would be okay. Yeah, but, like, she just kind of seemed like she leaned into it just in a different way.
Yeah. And, like, the single, definitely not the first time, like, she was kind of accused of it. And then she just made it.
From what I remember seeing when it happened, it was, like, there was, like, hints of it in the band, and then she left the band, and she was like, finally, I can be free. And I guess it's because she, like, left the two black people that would call her out on it. I think the same thing happened, if I remember correctly, with Fifth Harmony and Camila Cabello. Camila Cabello wasn't great, and then she left and got worse, and her bandmates were like, yeah, no, she sucks, which, like, I could have told you that, but I don't know if you've seen her or, like, listen to her talk for longer than 5 minutes, but she sucks. Me, an empath. Camila Cabello sucks.
You say you're an empath?
Yes. I'm not. I hate that word. I just go off vibes, man. Her vibe is real bad.
It is. It's really bad.
About her not being apologetic was, then you leave like, if they were still homies, which, like, they could be, but because she's not apologetic, I don't think she is. She left the band. I don't know if it'd be better or worse if she dated her ex-boyfriend while they were still in a band together, or now that they left the band. But, like, I feel like now that she's left the band, it's just like extra, like, F you.
Yeah, it's very, like, maybe they, just met and hit it off, but it's weird.
It's a little suspicious.
And, like, it's worse that it's worse.
Like, not to take any of your bandmates' boyfriends, but, like, maybe you should have taken the white bandmates.
Yeah, go date Zayn Malik, who dated
Like,
Perry Edwards.
You already got, like, blackfishing.
You don't need more.
Yes, he did date Perry Edwards. That's all I have to say.
And they put out a song called Shout Out to My Ex, which is probably about Zayn Malik and is very good.
And now he has a baby. I just found out this girl I went to middle school with is having a baby.
Oh.
Stop having babies, people.
Yeah. I think that's all I have on Little Mix. Do you have any further comments, questions, concerns, recipes, love life questions?
No, but I have love life advice, apparently, if anyone needs any.
Is it don't date your ex-bandmate's ex-boyfriend?
Don't date ex-bandmates. Don't date your friend's ex-boyfriend. Unless, like, she writes it in a contract. Mm-hmm. The only time I think it's okay is, like, if they dated, like, when they were, like, 14 and broke up, like, that's different. But, like, I think past the age of 19, don't date your friend's exes.
Yeah.
And if you... I don't want to encourage falsehood and lies, but, like, if you are accused of something like blackfishing or agent fishing or something along those lines, maybe just throw, like, a my bad on there, even if you're not sorry. Like, it can't hurt. No, I would prefer if you were sorry and it was a genuine
and like, just to be clear, the sorry would be in addition to stopping, right?
Well, ideally, yes.
Okay.
I don't think that's going to happen.
No, but I mean,
ideally, sorry and stop. And don't, like, sorry and stop. Like, if you're accused of blackfishing, don't say sorry and then start Asian fishing. Like, that's not what we need you to do. We just need you to cut it out. Okay?
Yeah. Like, it's not worse, not better.
Yeah, it just kind of, like, made a lateral move. So, maybe just throw a my bad on there. Like, it can't hurt. Mm-mm. But also, after 3 my bads, I don't think it's your bad. I think you're doing it on purpose, and we got problems.
Yeah, there is a point where it's intentional.
No, but I enjoyed that. It gave me some more depth. Like I said, I'd seen things going around, and I was like, I don't have a mental capacity to worry about another person blackfishing, which is, like, it's sad that that's a problem. But, like,
yeah.
I don't have it in my brain to do that right now.
No. But yeah, I always like giving you the rundown on things nobody cares about. Well, people do care about it, but, like, still.
Not many people.
No.
No, I find it interesting. It's stuff I find interesting, but don't care enough to delve into. Mm-hmm. And, like, Elanor always has, like, just Eleanor's brain works the same way I do, so it's she pulls out all the information I think is fantastic.
Yeah. Like, I gotta hit all the high points, which are sometimes low points at the same time.
And I have a good time, no matter what. I find this very entertaining. I know it's serious issues, but... I made a joke about social media. What's his name? Big Bird celebrating Kwanzaa.
We hope you had a good time too, and we will be back next week. Probably not in a car. Maybe in a car. Maybe while I'm driving. Not while I'm driving.
Not while you're driving. Don't use your phone to drive.
I have been Elanor.
I have been Kalina.
And we will see you next time.
Thanks for listening, and don't quote me on that. One day we'll have an outro, but it's not today.